Also es sagt, ich brauche nicht wegen Fahrrad, dass man 20 Meter mit dem fährt,
There we go. Always nice to see a church with the pride flag. Damn straight. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Vienna. And honestly, if I'd known I was going to be walking straight into Pride, I would have worn something a little more colourful. This is brilliant. Evening, friends. So, having walked through Pride Village, which was absolutely amazing, so many thousands of happy, dressed up, uninhibited people having a good time. It was great. I'm now at Albertina. It's a big statue right there. And that is the State Opera House. Some of you might even know where I'm going with this. There's a classic 1995 film called Before Sunrise, starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. An American guy meets a French girl on the train to Vienna. They get off together and walk around the city for 15 hours and fall in love. And essentially, Vienna is a supporting character. And there's a very cool scene where he's sitting exactly where I'm sitting. And so I thought it would be a very nice place to come, have a cigar. And I had the presence of mind to bring a little bit of whiskey with me. So I'm probably heading back fairly soon. And then I'm intending, don't hold me to it, but I'm intending to get up fairly early tomorrow and come into the city before it really wakes up. It is beautiful here. It's all wide avenues and 16th, 17th, 18th century wonderful buildings, which we will attend to tomorrow. Hope you're smiling. Good afternoon, friends. So, I didn't actually... I did wake up early this morning. I didn't leave the place until just recently. It's just after lunch. But behind me is Vienna Cathedral, St. Stephen's. A massive, beautiful edifice. I'm going to kind of work backwards in history because if you see the tiled roof here, on the right is the city of Vienna seal, and on the left is the seal of the nation of Austria. If you look really closely, you'll see 1950 tiled in there as well. That's because at the very, very end of World War II, Vienna was being looted because the Nazis were leaving because the Red Army was on the horizon. And unfortunately, looters set some fires in the surrounding area. They didn't burn the cathedral, but the fire spread and took out the roof. So in 1950, it was completely restored to its former glory, which is quite cool, actually. And another rather dark part, Sepp Dietrich. Sepp Dietrich was a high-ranking Nazi officer. He used to be Hitler's bodyguard and chauffeur back in the 20s. But by 1945, he was the commandant of this entire city. And with the Red Army on the horizon, they were all leaving. And in one of the most petty things, he ordered his men to fire 1,000 shells at this building and reduce it to rubble. Thankfully, that order was ignored, and they left without destroying the cathedral. Everything you see here is Romanesque and Gothic. Building began on this site in 1147, but the original church was then built around in the mid-1300s, and then the original church was removed from inside the new church. Right, I'm pretty far away from it actually to just try and get the tower in, because it is just so tall. 136 meters tall, which is 5 meters less tall than the Great Pyramid, which is quite a big fucking swing, actually. Yeah. It's Gothic in style. Construction began 1367 and continued for 65 years. It's really quite a serious edifice. This is the South Tower. It's nicknamed Steffel by the locals, apparently, which is the diminutive form of Stephen. So they call it by a kid's name, which is cute. There is the North Tower, but it was deemed as too ambitious and it was only half finished. So they kind of got to about there, and then they just put a Renaissance cap on it. The tiled roof on this side is also absolutely beautiful. They've done a really good job restoring it. They've been obviously restoring it on and off ad infinitum, but they've done a really quite good job. The whole thing is built of limestone, and that of course renders it quite easy to just get covered in soot and dirt. They've done a really good job, because on this side it's almost clear. You can see some dirt on the other side. And they've been actually quite fun. They were digging. They was trying to sort out a new heating system in 2000, and they were digging down below the building, and they found graves which were dated to the 4th century AD. They think they're Roman, so it's possible that there's been an actual church on this site for 1600 years, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to head to the Giant's Gate and enter the cathedral. I mean, this tower, man, 136 meters tall. The cathedral is 104 meters long. So, you know, taller than it is long, I suppose. You've got 2 smaller towers here. Oop, there you go, perspective. Flanking the front of the cathedral. And the main gate in, which I'm about to enter, is called the Giant's Gate. If you're wondering what that music is, there's a pro-Ukraine track running that repeats every 2 minutes. So, just before I do go in, the Giant's Gate, this is called. And one possibility, apparently, because in German, and of course I don't know what the German is, the Giant's Gate, the word chosen for that in German, it has this component that might refer to, when they were digging the foundations, they found a mammoth bone, a mammoth thigh bone, and they had it mounted over the gate for quite some time. And so the word is that it could be they chose that particular form of the German word for Giant's Gate for that reason. Anyway, I'm going to go in now. Yeah. So behind me is the Wiener Neustädter altar. The main altar is just in there, but this one, it was made in 1447 for the Emperor Frederick, whose tomb is opposite it. And in 85, which was the 100th anniversary of it being relocated back to here after being sent to an abbey for a few centuries, they spent 1.3 million, 20 years to restore it painstakingly to its former glory. Because if you're going to do something, you've got to do it right. Okay, so behind me there is the main altar. I'll do a zoom-in shot in a second so you can actually see it. It was made in 1641. The diocese at the time were moving more towards a Baroque style, so it's definitely that. And St. Stephen, for whom the church was named and dedicated to, was the first martyr. And one of the key parts of the painting on the altar is you have St. Stephen below and Christ above in heaven about to welcome him to his heavenly home and all that sort of thing. It's really quite cool, actually. I'm going to zoom in now. The pulpit was deliberately, there's a fantastic, incredibly intricate single piece of stone. It was placed against this pillar because, surprisingly enough, the acoustics in this building are not actually that incredible. And so it's placed against the pillar so the sound might reflect off and make it more audible for the sermons.
Osteuropäische Städte getourt, durch ganz Europäische Union. Und das Leben der Menschen, wie es gesehen haben, hat sich verändert. Und diese Menschen werden ihre Zukunft definitiv selbst in die Hand nehmen. Jeden Tag wachen wir morgens auf und gehen abends ins Bett.